We had to go the distance. It's the only way to make things fun with Navi. Welcome back to GG.Bet Ice Challenge. We are ready for our final map of the day. Navi on a bit of a comeback. They did actually win Dust 2 against the odds. Sure, still the favorites on paper, but not their map choice, and a horrible performance on an Overpass. I was going to say Inferno, excuse me.
Sure.
We now find themselves back where they should be going into Mirage.
Still, Mirage is another big question mark of this lineup. Their map pool is really reliant on the individuals, and that's what Dust 2, that's what got them through it, Matt. It wasn't pure clean rounds and lots of nice trades and good executions. It was down to individual brilliance, which is absolutely fine by me. It's Counter-Strike. At the end of the day, this game is about clicking on heads and showing how good you are with the weapons. The grenades, the tactics are designed to make your team, your opposition uncomfortable. If you can do that, great. If you can kill them straight up, that's also fantastic, and Navi can do that absolutely every time. Final map, though, we have seen Navi struggle on this map in the past, especially against the likes of Mouse Wars, for example. They couldn't handle short aggression, and we don't have that much information on Avangar on how they play this map. They do play an aggressive brand of Counter-Strike in general, and I'm sure that won't be a problem for Navi at this point. They seem like everyone's in the zone, like you pointed out. They just won that map pretty convincingly without Simple really coming online at all. He was like 18 rounds in with 9 frags, right?
Sure, exactly that. I mean, he had a few rounds still. One spectacular team kill with a double collat behind it. But you're right. It wasn't like he was in every single round. He wasn't having the same impact that we've come to know him for. And that, honestly, that's what Navi needs more of.
Well, hopefully it all comes together now. And I say hopefully because Navi are one of the teams you're in the conversation to win the major. You want to see them get some confidence, and we have been very, very impressed by Avangar so far. But on paper, Navi should be taking this one home. But I have been impressed with this lineup. They've definitely got a bright future ahead of them. Lots of these unknown quantities from the CIS region. We know they're good, but now they're really proving themselves together on a world-class level where they could be challenging some of the top 10 teams quite convincingly.
I mean, you look at Vega Squadron, Quantum Bellator Fire, that's still kicking around Avangar. These guys looking pretty sharp now. There's lots of it. There's lots of talent there. You said it yesterday. We talked about if Navi were to make changes, where do they go, given that Adren's now departed from Gambit and moved on to FaZe. You've got a guy like Angel who's getting a little older but still brings leadership. I mean, where do you go? And you brought up there's tons of talent there. There
really is. In terms of, you are right, though. You do want someone who's experienced to some degree, like someone from the Avangar roster, like even if they beat them here, if they got the opportunity to join an organization like Navi, that call came in, they're going to take it. It's similar to similar situation we've had in the Polish scene in the past, right? Even when VP are dropping off, a young Polish player who's in arguably a better team will happily jump ship to join the prestige of the organization and what it represents.
Yeah, I mean, even with Cloud9, it happened with Stewie and Tarek at the time. That one was a little different. I think that was one that was more like, okay, we've overachieved with a major, massive offer comes in, but still, it's the prestige and fortunate play with a guy like Fallen.
Of course,
it's not quite the same upward scale considering they're already tier 1, but yeah, it's hard to turn down some of these offers for these guys.
Oh yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have we done the knife? Have I gone mad? Have we done it yet?
You are mad, but we have not done it.
Okay, well there we go. Again, this is a map where the knife round not super important. For those who are joining us around for this last map, the few of you still left in the conference room, this is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This is esports. I'm sure you've heard all about it. This is brought to you by GG.Bet.
Lowercase s.
Definitely lowercase s, all one word, and it's competitive gaming and a lot of prize money on the line for this particular tournament. There's $50,000 here between 4 teams, with the first place team taking home $30K. We have North.
Has Navi won a knife round yet?
I'm not sure. That's probably, the thing is you can actually, on some website, I think GG.Bet as well, you can actually bet on the outcome of the knife rounds and stuff like that. There's lots of cool things you can do and lots of different variables that go into Counter-Strike that make it such a great game that goes with this kind of environment we're in right now in this gaming/gambling sort of conference. Counter-Strike definitely lends itself to the same sort of similarities we see in traditional sports, and you'll see the odds displayed and live betting going on as the map continues.
Well, the map going to begin this time. Mirage, tactical, a lot of smokes required on the T side. Mid control certainly prevalent, but not. Okay, I'm going to say required. Yeah, at some point in the game, it's going to be something you have to do in your default, but it's not the end-all be-all. You can get some fast B plays. You can do set A executions without it. It's not like if you're having trouble at mid, you don't have other options. I don't like sometimes that people sell it as, oh, it's such a mid-centric map.
Yeah.
It's true, but it's not like it's the only option.
Yeah, if you're dominating that area, that's when it's a huge talking point. You can never claim it, but it's certainly not, you don't have to have it to win a round. You could just go for an execution right at the beginning of the round and actually win quite convincingly. We commonly see on T-pistols, we'll see one smoke going towards jungle, one towards steps, flash over, but this is not that approach at all. I think we've just seen a smoke go towards window and maybe a fast short push here. The Molotov actually goes towards window. Does that mean the smoke's towards the short position to block the vision from that spot? Indeed it is. So Buster, he could be boosted up, but I think that's the play maybe Na'Vi are going for. Great shot from Flamey there. He really has turned it on the last couple of maps. Opening kill from him, but here's Fitch. USP needs to find at least one here.
Gets out of the site. That was his goal in that situation. I know it sounds odd to give up ground and allow them inside of the site where the objective is to plant the bomb, but it's efficiency. Staying alive, he gives his team and himself a better chance when they all arrive together. Exactly that. He goes in with backup, finds a kill, but he's the only one even still. Fitch, James, and now Prison all go down. Kicker was involved in that as well. Great round from Na'Vi. They start off the map with a pistol on the T side, and that'll give them some guns and the confidence to get Simple rolling perhaps yet again. He certainly can be a contribution inside of middle, but we know how resounding he can be anywhere with an AK on this map, let alone the AWP.
There we have it. Avangar on the third and final map. This is the lower bracket. Lose up is removed from the tournament. The first to be removed. As we'll see, Na'Vi with just the 2 rifles. Simple actually going for the AWP next round. He knows there is a potential. If James took a pretty much full eco and he got 1 kill on the pistol, he's able to get the AWP. I think that's a possibility for the next round. So that's why Simple is just going for USP. That might look weird because he's got the same weapon as his opposition, but remember, he's got the helmet and the Kevlar. His opposition do not. So he still has 1-tap potential. They definitely have anything but. So he still has a huge advantage in that sense, brings out the AWP in the next round, and then he'll be able to challenge James, who he knows will be aiming to get that AWP out in the first gun round, number 3. That's if everything goes swimmingly. This could all fall apart for Na'Vi. They can lose 2 or 3 kills, and then that might not be such a viable option for them.
The interesting thing is, I mean, they have to get the information that this is a stack first and foremost before they commit, and they've already kind of lent themselves to catwalk. Bomb's going to make contact as well. So if that goes down right now, if that's spotted, it could be a problem, and they do throw it back, thankfully, because Edward did fall. Simple gets the response. Now Flamey will work in, spots one at bench, sees one toward the van. Likely going to go down in this situation, already on low HP, but confirms at least to his teammates, hey, they're all here. Don't bother. Don't risk it. Get back over toward A and get that bomb down.
We had this exact discussion at the beginning of the day, right? Like some teams will just walk into B bomb sites and not really check or go for their default. Luckily, that was crisis averted there for Na'Vi. They wanted to walk in there, but Flamey made the call. Okay, there's a few players here. We need to get back, and they were in a position to get in position. I think Simple survived. Not 100% sure that player did go down. If he did, though, he still has enough for the AWP, and I'm sure we'll be seeing that come out on both sides of the server here. James got his on the back, as you can see. Decent spawn as well. He can either go connector, he can even jump in pallets for that first gun round and just try and mix things up and show that aggression he's famous for. And Simple goes for the AK. So there we go. Didn't want to go for the early sniper, but James facing towards that A ramp and then eventually making his way towards connector. I assume Simple wanted to drop at that point, or just didn't fancy the AK. Maybe just going for a set piece here and they didn't require the sniper.
Flash over, but James, interestingly, with the AWP is quite close, so that won't deter his vision at all. Remember, it's crosshair placement in relation of distance to where the detonation point of the flash is, so behind him, that won't blind him at all, and he takes down Electronic, who would have expected not to find an AWP in that position. Interesting call, though. This is a gun round, and they put so much pressure on A. They really went all in on that AWP. Oh, he's going to run straight back over toward B instead.
Well, they will have the plan here, but the fact it's a 5-on-4, it's not a foregone conclusion. They can still realistically go for this one, but the lack of kit might dissuade them. This boost is pretty much their only entry into the round. If they can get something here, maybe they can go for it, but I would say at this point, it's not worth. They haven't got the grenades to really segregate the T's. They know there's going to be brutal crossfires here. They might decide to let this one slip by, and that's fine because you can see, oh, good pitch there. Are they going for this? I don't like that at all. I thought they were just holding. But challenging key points of the map. Now they've lost 2 rifles. They would have had a really strong buy if they just saved all the guns, let them have it, and then they could buy the helmets, the grenades, everything they need to have a decent round. Losing those 2 weapons actually cost them quite a lot. Trade surely from Flamey here, but great work from Buster. So not all is lost, perhaps, as it's looking like Edward will get a double kill. Okay, well, everyone's going down the looks of things now. James will save the orb. What was looking like a promising save scenario with a lead I feel like that got thrown away a little bit there, but it will be Na'Vi continuing to look strong here in the latter stages of this best of 3. The final map of the day, we will have the grand final tomorrow. The winner of this particular map will play Heroic first thing around 10:30 in the morning here, live from the Octagon in London. Brought to you by GG.Bet. It's the Ice Challenge, 3-day event. And James does save the AWP going to round number 4 here. They do not force around it, but we've seen him do some great things with a solo scout and some pistols. What can he do with the AWP?
Monster with the deagle, the hand cannon. Potential for the headshot kill immediately, but couldn't find one as they crossed over on the window. Flamey, he'll be the first in, drops down at the van, no one spotted. That once again confirms that they're getting open bomb sites. It's very interesting, this gameplay so far from Avangar. They're gambling on it. Of course, with pistols, that's not uncommon, but even with the weapons, if they win that last round, if they go on A and they shut down a full execution, they look like geniuses. They do it with ease, and they get the money control. They don't. They manage to try and save. Unfortunately, if you are going to make that call and you can't make the retake, a save is essential, and they did lose 2. So that put them in a very precarious position this round, and once again, they gamble on the stack. So a bit of a bizarre situation to start off this game. It's quite light on kills, but heavy on bomb sites for Na'Vi.
In a few of these rounds in this tournament where all 10 players potentially survive. That's not going to happen here. Simple loves a knife.
It's a knife. Yep. That's $1,500 extra for Simple just for knifing an opponent.
He wants more knives.
And it's interesting as well. It's frustrating. He's looking for information. Okay, fair enough. He did go for the headshot. I thought he might actually just go back for it once he realized there was no one else further on.
I'm surprised he doesn't take that knife. Normally,
all day.
Thrives in those sort of positions. But,
and it's early enough in the half that the 1,500, despite that they're winning and he has the AK, it's justifiable.
I guess his slow performance in Dust 2 might have humbled him a little bit. Doesn't want to go for the crazy plays right now. Just wants to make sure he guarantees and make sure this map is a lock-in. There's the odds on the screen provided by GG.Bet. Our headline sponsor here. We're playing on their booth. You can see Na'Vi 1.13, heavily favored. And this final map, especially for 4-0 scoreline. They look like that. This is a map I can tell they've been working on. This looks much better than what Dust 2 is. They've got nice objective at the start. Everyone's got that roll. The grenades are now landing. They're making things a little bit difficult for the Avangar defense. First time, though, we've seen the double AWP set up from the CTs. Buster has proven himself to be a pretty decent secondary AWP, to be fair. Quite flashy as well. Na'Vi don't necessarily have that. Flamey can pick up the AWP, but it won't be as soon as they can. He'll pick it up. It'll be situational. They manage to find one, he'll certainly give it a go, but it's not something he's well known for, perhaps.
Edward looking to the window, smoked off standard, as with connector. Didn't go for the third stair bounce, so there actually is a gap at the top of it, but no one peeking through from the Avangar side. They're actually being a lot more passive, relying on a double up setup. Buster yet again to be the one on it. He's trying to hold off from Cat. Flash in. Take some ground. Just a little bit of damage done from an aid thrown out by a teammate. Trying to get further job done toward Chris. In good step from him. Looks for the third, but Simple holding the angle. Does manage to pull it back on the AK. Problem is that Buster's not been solved. Missed shot. Actually, I take it back. He tagged Simple through the wall. And he gets a second crack at it to find Zeus, but Simple still inside of the smoke. Managed to evade him. Pull it to a 1-on-4. Bomb on his back. 29 seconds. It's a pretty difficult situation as the smoke dissolves, dissipates, and gives him up. It's a kicker who was always in shadow and never found in the A site.
Well, there we have it. First round on the board for the boys. Avangar need to find a lot more where that came from if they could have a chance here against the mighty Na'Vi, who seem to be getting better and better with each map. A chance to reset the CZs, though. We'll see what kind of buy comes through. Do they still have a double AWP setup? They certainly do. Simple with a pretty decent spawn. Flamey presumably just jumps across for him, allows him to get the peek. He actually challenges first. I'm not sure if he spotted anyone there. That's the spray confusing me. They can't see that on their screen, just to be clear, if the viewers are home. That's purely aesthetic for us.
Cheeky little touch, customization for this event. That'll be a great start. 4-1. They were up 4-1 on overpass as well, keep in mind. The very start of this series, like 2 hours ago at this point. At least that, considering that game went into overtime. Kicker trying to find his way back in through the smoke in the window. If you can get over to the right side, from Flamey's perspective, they would have expected that already to be cleared. He can also cover off connector with a swing quite easily, but they may consider it. It's not impossible to assume that someone's gone back into that position. Secondary smoke, they're actually going to reposition yet again on the CT side, and they're anticipating a presence on B down catwalk. So 2 players already inside of checker. And an aggressive stance toward the archway, including that of the AWP. Give up Windows and Van because that'll be covered by the rotation players. So Fitch babysits the 2 default players. Are they too aggressive at the corner? Navi on the other side of things. Electronic already inside connector. Not a lot of challenge against him right now. They realize there's a massive potential to split the A site, and it is only Krizian left in there.
You can see it encroaching now. Electronic doesn't commit to the check of the corner there. That's going to cost him his life, but still a decent position for Navi here. Remember, apprehension has been a curse for them as they can't make their way towards the bomb sites here, and there will be 3 players towards short. Zeus has called that simple. Nails the shot on the bomb site. They've got to get it planted. 10 seconds remaining. Massive risk towards CD spawn, but I think it's confirmed it's clear from the vent position. Simple now. Oh my goodness, so aware, so precise as he'll take down Fitch right through the edge of the wall there. Now a 3 versus 2 with a flashbang remaining for Navi. Remember, this is the reset round as well. It wouldn't be too detrimental with Buster, and Kicker can save the AWP and AUG respectively. We'll see if that's going to be the case. It looks like it certainly will be. Edward just confirming the vent is clear and no one's going for the retake here, and that's why they could go for that open plan. I think he would be able to call if a player made it through towards spawn. As Buster will hold the AWP towards the B apartments. At this stage, he needs a guarantee he holds on to it. Getting 1 kill on an exit wouldn't be that influential. He needs guarantee he's holding onto that weapon. There he is, the man of the moment. Simple at the end. Nailing the shots. The all-important one on the A bomb site, followed it up towards connector. Bomb planted, 10 seconds, as is per tradition with Navi on the server. But they get it down, and it all works out wonderfully for them. 5-1. Remember, our first elimination game here. Whoever loses this best of 3, this is the final map, will be removed from the tournament. There's only 4 teams here, and I guess if you had to pick one out, at the start of the tournament, Avangar would be up there, maybe with Heroic being an unknown entity, and maybe North, but you'd expect Navi to cruise through the entire tournament. But it's been a real struggle for them, and Simple can't quite connect the shot. He'll take a nade to the face.
Yeah, that's a heavy nade. 49 damage against an armored opponent is about as good as it gets. Now it seems odd to the viewers. Nades are not one-hit kills in Counter-Strike.
Yes.
I enjoy that fact, but I do still think there's issues with the way the damage is distributed from them.
Yeah, the fact that 1 pixel can block the entire thing, you know, like little tiny glitches. Like, I guess you need to, if you could split the difference between 1.6 nades and CSGO, like they do similar damage here, but they do ignore tiny particles, and you'd probably be in a pretty spot-on position. But we'll see if this damage will be influential. As Simple now vulnerable to the 1-tap of the M4s. Jane, we saw him play this position quite a lot yesterday, up close and personal. Seems to be where he thrives.
Already 1 kill here today as well on Electronic. Just 2 rounds ago. Fortunately for them, it was when they gambled and stacked inside of the A side. Simple's got Krizian already. So again, Navi opens it up. Jame didn't realize they were getting in behind him on Palace, and they didn't spot him in turn being so aggressive toward the ramp. He somehow stayed alive longer than he was due in that corner, but really had nowhere to go and didn't really try and take the fight. Tried to just stay alive and hope his teammates would bail him out. They could not. Fitch, he's got to back away and save the M4, silenced M4. So there's one for you, Henry. We talked about the difference in the weapons and that it's not really common to see anymore.
Indeed. I actually don't know like if there's many players who do it by like a map-by-map basis. Maybe on their positions they play like a real sneaky spot like Shadow or Mirage, for example, and they feel like that's going to be the better weapon for them, and they'll change things up. I actually have never really thought about that, whether many pros do it. It's not really a huge talking point because the silence M4 is so rare these days. But there we go. Avangar, you can see, not looking too confident now. As round by round, slipping away. And you can see the odds speak for themselves, provided by GG.Bet. Navi, the heavy favorites at 1.12. And now 8.6 for Avangar. Full eco for them as well. Very likely to be 7-1 on what's arguably a CT-sided map, depending on the matchup.
Simple, still trying. Knows there's pressure. Pistols, you might as well try something different. They've stacked both bomb sites to no avail. This time they'll go aggressive in middle, guaranteed to at least get a fight. Maybe not a fight they're favorable in or want, because Electronic and Edward finding all the frags. As we get close to 6 p.m., the public has to leave the venue. That's all that announcement is. We're welcome to play this game until 10 p.m. should we need to.
It'd be one hell of a map if we got that map, but let's hope we'll keep it in the realms before 10 p.m. Maybe 8 is that, we'll call a cutoff. But either way, that's Navi looking incredibly poised. Maybe Simple overextending a little bit there with the PD50. Wanted some frags. He had a little bit of a slow performance there on Dust 2. Wanted to start lighting it up, get his confidence built up. But he's had a pretty decent performance so far on Mirage. That was the full eco, and James still feeling the brunt of the financial situation. You can see there, he's got no Kevlar, no grenades. They've got one kit between them. Kickout and Buster also no utility to speak of whatsoever. That makes things incredibly difficult, but Edward, that's always been a problem for them. That short positions where they seem to lose the majority of their picks as Flamey tries to walk in towards A. Troy knows he has to step up here, flashbang out. This could commit fully towards B and try and trade some kills.
It's good positioning though. Late to swing back out, catches out Electronic. That puts the bomb down with the second kill from Buster on Zeus as well, and it's all on to Simple. First chance in a while for Avangar to pick up a round. They need to be efficient in doing so as well for sake of the reset. Don't need to lose money at this point in the half because CT side more expensive, much more difficult. That's pretty bold from Simple. Runs through, knows Buster's there, but James ready on the AWP, able to trade it out immediately. So 3 players stay up, importantly, one of which is the AWP. This should be a reasonable situation from which the half can be recovered, but again, it can still fall apart quite catastrophically if Na'Vi respond quick enough.
Time will tell. Odds slipping further and further away for Avangar, but a round coming in their favor, at least 7-2. Needs to avoid that reset again. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen there, fully invested in terms of the cash. You need the money to keep buying these big weapons, especially that AWP, which Jane requires to be a star player. He is burning, though. This isn't going to cost him his life, is it, Matt? 6 HP. If he gets a kill and gets away, that'll be great. Unfortunately, he gets nothing and actually left completely wounded. But as a sniper, he can fall back to a very deep position and just play for those tactical picks, but it certainly stifles him.
Buster backs to the ladder. He'll cover off Catwalk as a result of that. Interesting, with Catwalk covered in a player in B, they still have 3 on that side of the map, so they've really relinquished a lot of mid-control. Again, Buster can't swing on that, but he can't peek it. He can't get information ahead of time. It's more reactive at that point in time than proactive. Smoke down top side connector that allows, if they should elect to do so, Flamey to work in, or there or anyone else that's in that position. And control rotations. While they do that, they'll put the others onto the catwalk and try and get information toward B. Buster's going to be patient. Needs to be. Crosshair placement low. Not expecting Edward to have already climbed the ladder, but recovers for it. Gets the headshot in return, and Electronic already on top of the fence. This is good positioning because he can jump through. Instead, he Molotovs it. Jumping in, perhaps he's a little bit cautious of the fact that Buster is still going to be in the ladder room. And the Molotov was actually designed so that he pretty much had to be, but yet not expecting of his position on the ladder. That's well done from Buster to keep himself alive. You pointed out something interesting as we bring it up in picture-in-picture. Kikart's gone all the way around and gotten behind them on Palace. This will be a very successful flank. There's absolutely no way Zeus should be ready for this.
We'll never know.
He's dropped in shadow. You're right. He's managed to at least evade him for now, but spotted. That's
oh dear,
a blunder.
15 seconds, they'll still win the round, but every kill has a knock-on effect in Counter-Strike. The fact you don't nail that one when the money's low is a bit of an issue. Simple. That's more like it. Oh, God, he's cost himself his life, I think.
He had a clean kill on a platter, but you're right. It's Simple. He wanted to go for the knife and try and build this back up. He has to stay alive at this point as well because there's going to be no money. That's
Did they get him?
Awkward.
Someone went down. Did Simple die? Yes, he did.
It was, yep.
So he gets no cash into the next round, and he went for the knife there. And that is a perfect example of why you just don't really do that in those sort of situations. You've already got an orb. You don't need cash.
Part of me wants to think that maybe he didn't want to kill him also because it gives his position away and maybe they get him after the time. But, I mean, if he's right in front of you, you don't go for a knife in a situation like that.
You just wait. If he's got to walk past you,
yeah, let him go.
Wait until the absolute last second, then kill him, right? Don't need the knife. He lost the orb there. That's a bit of a nightmare, and they'll take a tactical timeout. Long day for these boys.
Yeah, healthy lead currently. Long base for these boys. They came in for the second best of 3. Remember that North was here quite early. Had to go back
now,
to exactly. Had to go back to their hotel.
Let's check that out. Where
they've got full facilities set up for them there, and they're actually playing for the IEM Sydney qualifiers right now. 2 further best of 3s they had to play today. IEM Sydney coming up, our second of Intel Extreme Masters, the first being the major, obviously, in Poland, just starting up next week, the round of 24. It's a 3-week affair, and then Sydney is, to my recollection, the end of April. We'll take the World of Counter-Strike there, and you will take on Sponge again, and I think Sponge is going to win again.
We announced that today, didn't we? I've got a few tricks in my sleeve.
That was all over the social media today.
Let's just say Simple and I have been talking.
Yeah, he still owes me a knife, so don't expect him to come good on his promises.
7-3. And at this point, Na'Vi do have enough for the AKs, of course. Galil for Simple. Selfless as ever. Takes, maybe as a punishment for himself. He's like, I'll take the Galil, guys. So I deserve this. As The last knife attempt was not successful. We'll see where they're setting up. You can see they've got the bomb and 3 players holding for A aggression. Very patient, as Na'Vi tends to be. They've got a couple of smokes in. One's been deployed and Edward's going down for sure. No way he's surviving that.
Second time he's burned in a very odd position, or a fully committed position, I should say. At least on Dust 2, he was able to get a kill when he walked out from long. This time he was helpless.
This was a double fake. They were going to send Edward in, hopefully for 1 kill, then get these presents towards B and have the bomb ready to go in A and try and really overcomplicate the situation. That's what they're looking likely to do.
Yeah, 4 sortations.
Yeah, but it's now going to be down to raw firepower, like we said. That's not a problem for the likes of Electronic, but great positioning from these CTs.
Yeah, Kikrit does not have to move. He can firmly fix his crosshair exactly where it is, really toward Palace. The fact that they don't have much utility to move him out means he gets to control the situation. They don't check it. Bomb goes down. He knows that Simple's already in behind Triple, but it's Electronic that came out late. They got the kill and trades off Simple to recover the bomb. Zeus has Fitch. It's down to Jame. Inside plant from Triple means that Jame doesn't get a line of sight from CT. They can actually back away safely toward, well, not quite A main, but Tetris nonetheless, meaning that they can hold the high ground, cover the bomb, and Jame has to find 2 that are quite divided, meaning easy trade, and Electronic gets him looking the other direction.
Well recovered there. It's looking like as mentioned, a bit of a complicated strategy there that was high risk. He sent 1 player in through smoke, hoping a player like Edward's going to find a quick one-shot headshot there, then fall back towards B, show presence, come back towards A. I think they simplified it towards the end. Once Edward went down with nothing, didn't really sell anything, they just repositioned, got together, and made their way through. As they continue their assault here, we did say that's a big reset round, and indeed it will be the full eco now for Avangar. PD50s, Deagles, and at this stage, Flamey, he knows he's got a few kills in front of him. He's successfully made his way towards the mouth of the A round, waiting for any initial aggression. Then he'll sneak through with a little bit of assistance from his teammates at the flashbangs to cover the close-range players. Smokes down towards jungle. He's clearing out the choke points here. That spray will be successful. Unarmored opponents will melt if any AK bullets near them in any position, whether it's ahead or not.
Nice and fine. Simple trying to get back through the gap in the smoke. Fitch wants to take advantage of it. He'll post up on the stairs in hopes that he spots them going toward the plant. Does get Simple with a pistol, the Deagle of all guns, but I shouldn't say of all guns, powerful enough, but considering it's against the AK, thankfully for Navi's sake, bomb was already down safely and Buster's bailed. Just a pistol, default pistol at that, no armor. Seems odd to save it, but doesn't want to give away any kill money either, I suppose, in this situation and just frustrate Navi by drawing this out a little bit longer. It'll go 9-3 T-side. Good situation for them to be in. Simple looking. Despite that knife error, a little bit sharper so far than he did at the start of Dust. But again, we're seeing the others come and form around him. Electronic looking sharp coming in from Palace. Flamey's had a few affairs where he's been in the exchange early on, certainly pushing through and getting information CT late and deep inside of the A site.
You're absolutely right there. And considering this great team performance from Na'Vi, it's what you'd expect at this point. There's the AWP on the backs. First half coming to its logical conclusion very shortly. You can see the odds really stacked in Na'Vi's favor at this point. Round 13, a desperate buy from Avangar, UMPs. And a FAMAS, Jame with the AWP, who hasn't been as terrifying as he has been in previous days.
Simple still holding to see if they'll peek from connector. That's oftentimes how the CTs approach mid, because window's so often smoked off that it's effectively useless for a good period of time. Usually 15 seconds is the animation. I think it's 18 full animation, but 15 seconds is the relevancy of smoke. You can easily redress that. This time they're going to boost window. The fact that they forced them out of that position by doing that so commonly with utility opens up the option, and Electronic takes full advantage of this. So Navi is adapting based on the tempo that they're setting in this game. This is them actually controlling the situation, and quite rightly so. They now force a pushback on B to get back behind to get information, and they're already ready for that. So this is looking much better. They're one step ahead rather than several steps behind on overpass.
Sure. Well, there we go. Na'Vi completely running away with this round. Nothing really can be done as Kikert and Buster with the UMP and FAMAS, not really a viable situation for them. Both turtling up on the A bomb site, hoping they can just hold onto the little they have. But here comes Simple. He's heading towards our Palace position, and Flamey confirms that both players are towards A, and that's why Simple comes towards Palace, looking to take everyone down with him. We'll see if he can do it. Electronic challenges first. I'll be the cue for Simple to strike. As he spots one towards CT, last one Tetris. Nicely done.
Solid performance as always from Simple. And it's 10-3. You kind of pegged this. You foreshadowed this series to me off the mic. I'm going to put you on the spot for it. You said, here's what's going to happen. Navi's going to lose the first map. They're going to rope it back, go the distance in the second, and then clean out the third. That's just typical Navi. That's kind of what's happened, except the first went the distance in itself. It wasn't quite as one-sided as you thought.
It's just, it's kind of predictable in this sort of matchup, I would say, because Avangar are pretty unknown in terms. I don't think they've done a ton of homework here. I don't think they're looking their absolute best, and Avangar will be super hungry, but the tenacity of Navi normally gets them through those awkward situations. They were 15-10 down, remember, to actually get back in to that map. So pretty exciting stuff, but here we go. It is going to be 11-3 at this point. This feels like it might be done at this stage. A disappointing way to close things out, perhaps, as it's a CD-sided map, and Avangar might have run out of gas at the very final hurdle. See, Kane looks a little more relaxed at the back now.
So does Edward in the foreground as well. He looked a little bit stunned that he was so slow to get started today. So things, certainly normalizing. Unfortunately for Avangar, that means this could be their last game in this event. And again, it's another what-if story. They're close, so close in both series that they would have now played, and yet come up shy. Lots of good takeaways for them. They certainly seem to have some presence in the mid-rounds. They have an idea of what they want to accomplish. Whether or not they do comes down to the picks. But James, that's the highlight for me in this event. At least from Avangar.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he showcased himself to be a phenomenal talent. And that's what these events are all about, is unearthing and demonstrating skills. We'll see if round number 15 will be even slightly fruitful for Avangar here. Last chance to get anything on the board. 12-3 is almost a death sentence on Mirage CT side, especially with the level of Avangar presenting right now. They've got 3 smokes. They have got rifles across the board, including the AWP. There's a smoke towards window. Tucks in there nicely. And now the mid-control begins. The bomb's still down in T-spawn, so nothing too committed just yet.
To emphasize, we talked about it yesterday, you put a catwalk smoke, which is easier to throw and then take it, you get more duration. That smoke from spawn is not easy. For these guys, it is. They put so much effort into being pixel perfect on the simple things to make their job so much easier when they actually have to execute. And that, again, we talked about that last round. That's why Electronic was able to take window. By putting that smoke there, the CTs have to back off it. They can't get information. They can't play it aggressively. They have to be so passive that the only way to do that is give it up and play connector. James does the opposite approach. He actually gives away the time, tries to gamble with going there late, but what happens? They put a second smoke down and a bit more utility. He's forced out again, and in transition, that's exactly when they capitalize on connector.
James and Fitch, last line of defense here. Still a fighting chance, though, with 20 seconds remaining. Flashbangs raining in. James, once again, can't deny that plan, but he knows exactly where it is. Can hear it beeping, and we'll see if his teammate can back him up. They've got a smoke, a flashbang. There is a kit there as well. They want to be smoking on top of the bomb, ideally hitting this first shot, which he absolutely does. 2 versus 2. Flamey low HP as well, and he's the last remaining player here. Takes down the AWP. If he can survive this, it will be fantastic. He's playing heads-up CS right now. There's the smoke, and he's trying to outmaneuver his opposition, but Fitch had a huge advantage there, just in terms of the HP. As soon as that smoke goes down, and Flamey is trying to punish that fact. He's got a grenade out, trying to go for the defuse. He hopefully can seal away a headshot there, but it looked like Fitch always had that one under control. 11-4, obviously not as bad as 12-3, but still an impossible task. It's going to take so much to get them back in this game. They need the pistol and need to build upon it. If they lose that round, you can pretty much call it done, and we'll see Navi in that first game tomorrow morning.
Remember, North already in the finals. They'll get the morning off. Heroic doing it the hard way would like to get back in and get revenge on them for the upper bracket final we had this morning. Back on some of the half. This was one we thought Zibble was going to go for the knife. This was the easy one, not the hard one where he chose to do it and actually gave away one of the rounds. I shouldn't say gave it away. The round was already lost at that point, but it would have been better suited to take the shot when he had it. But a lopsided score, Navi finally extending and showing us why they are the class of the field and going to do this the long way, apparently, if they want to get back to the finals. Hops have certainly been a presence throughout this series. Flamey starting it off Fitch, good rundown. They don't know Zeus is in the corner, but really he's stuck there. There's no way to slide back out, and even with Simple in the sight, all 3 gone already.
Well, that's a B rush, and quite the successful one. Nothing too tactical required. Group up, jump in. If you get that first kill, it can snowball very quickly indeed, as we'll see This round guaranteed, there's no choice but to save the armor. And that might not seem like much, but in that second round, if they decide to force buy, which I would not recommend with this sort of lead, they could actually bring something quite substantial. They could get helmets on those two Deagles as well, and then maybe a scout around it. But they might force buy, you never know. It's a comfortable lead. If they feel like it's worthwhile. There's no rules here. As the bomb goes off, Avangar probably surprised at how easy that was, considering 3 players on the other side.
Yeah, stunning shots to enter in. I mean, as soon as they won the balcony, Zeus is pretty much locked in. He wants to swing while they're dealing with the first exchange and actually get the the advantage on the first shot. That fell apart. Then Simple's pinched in behind the van with very little movement available to him, and down goes 3 players as quick as that. Away goes the money, and Avangar give themselves a fighting chance to pull this half back. This whole game back, I should say, a little in this half. AK's up, bit of a force buy, double scout. We've seen 1 scout many times. Double scout's the first time I think this event we've seen that buy in the second round. Talked about their purchasing yesterday as well, and that they were on the fence, went in a little bit with pistols, but left Simple saving oftentimes. This time he's going to be on the sniper and finds the head of Fitch. That gives them 1. It's a 1-for-1 though, so they stay on equal terms in terms of manpower, but still in the disadvantage in terms of weapons and the fact that the B site is now open. They aren't committing to the bomb plant because they want to be absolutely certain that they can safely put it down. In doing so, they peek Simple twice, and, Flamey rather, he finds not only 2 body shots, but a further kill onto Kickard, and now the pistols become relevant. They can actually pick apart the low HP players on Avangar.
Absolutely so. It's an equal situation. No bomb down here. I assumed it'd be planted, but no. It actually is pretty equal here considering the HP. If there was a kit, you might even give the edge towards Na'Vi. Flamey hits yet another shot. I think that's his 4th tag of the round so far. And Jamin Buster, incredibly fragile in this scenario. 1 towards Van, 1 at short, and Buster needs to find headshots, and he's delivering. That's a lovely little shot. They know exactly where he is. Time ticking away. Someone needs to get on the boots. They need to get on the defuse, and see whether they can actually finish this one off. As now up to Flamey, needs to land the shot. He's got the scout. Can he do it? And he will not. Great effort there, I have to say. The amount of damage done, though, they might be persuaded to force buy again, but that could be opening Pandora's box. I'm not sure that's the correct decision at this point. It's convincing, you can reset them, you get Deagle armor out, but I'd say let's look at the bigger picture. Let's not open the door of opportunity too wide here. Maybe just take the eco. But Na'Vi have been known to be a team that enjoy the force buy. They've certainly upgraded pistols, and they have not gone all in. So, got to respect that. Decent effort. Flamey will be a bit gutted he couldn't deliver that final kill. But still significant damage done to the economy.
Simple trying to find the Deagle. Gap slightly in the smoke on the left. Don't think it would be, well, for a guy like him it might be. Don't think it would be enough to really reveal too much though, because they can back off to the wall and elongate that. So Finch starts off the kills. You're right in saying that they could have been baited in, but if they did, they definitely leave themselves extremely vulnerable. Graphics glitch.
Yeah, it's a Ghost TV thing. It's been around since the beginning of the game. I'm not sure why that still exists, but there we go.
Fitch does find further damage on the Mag-10. As Flamey gets James, it's Fitch to pull it back. Crisant, he manages 1 more. We've got to watch Zeus. The stickers from the guns basically get removed and thrown into the air for whatever reason. I'm sure it's not as simple as just MS Paint moving them out of the way. It's definitely a coding thing, but nonetheless, it's the round to Avangar. Pretty straightforward affair, given the weaponry, given the situation, but the full save does imply that Navi's going to come back swinging this time.
Well, they certainly will have the firepower to give it a go. So tantalizingly close in that second round force by the Scouts. Impressive work by Flamey today. Really enjoyed his contributions to the server. And here we go then. Orgs pretty much across the board. Flamey the only exception with the M4A4. You can see they've got no sniper on either side, and it's going to be another B rush here, and that's what Zeus plays, Matt. And that has been a talking point before. In-game leaders that play the B bomb site will be targeted. Absolutely.
Certainly, if they're the weakest link in the fragging, they're going to target that every single time. And B usually is a narrow access point. You win 1 frag, and it's traditionally the harder site to retake. So there's a double-edged sword on that as well. But this time they managed to slow the bomb down. Dropped inside of the site. No need for Zeus to be giving himself up. Crisant gets him through the edge of the wall. Back to a 2-on-2. Still, though, the advantage to Na'Vi. Strictly based on the position of the bomb.
Yes, indeed. Simple and Electronic, a dastardly duo here. They'll have the Orgs in hand, flashbangs available as Electronic views the window. Is that a little backstab from Simple here towards the connector? I think it might be. It's difficult to tell on the mini-map. We'd have to check his video. Okay, is it short? I was about to say that would be pretty crazy. Just hold towards short. They still know they have the bomb there. So Simple holding off the position from middle, and Electronic, you can see, has to be cognizant of the fact they could go towards CT spawn. It's a little bit of a troublesome position now because every second that goes by, he starts to doubt his position more and more. And now he's let one go by, and that could cost Simple his life. The fact they've got past and Electronic hasn't noticed it, well, doesn't seem to matter whatsoever. Simple, aware as ever, nails the shot, takes down Crizin, and that surely is going to be the end of the round as they can challenge together. Now the plant comes in. He knows Simple's pretty far away from this situation. Bomb goes down. It's going to take a wonderful headshot, and he certainly delivers. Another great rifle clutch from James.
Pretty stunning. Navi management didn't look too pleased with that. Gave us a glance after it with some wide eyes as if to say, oh dear, this could be falling apart. As the score gets closer, yet still. Stun, I thought it was pretty stunning, I have to say. He looks pretty amused. But it is Navi that has to recover, and the weapon's becoming more and more a factor. This is momentum that's shifting away, and you can see the frustration on Simple's face.
It looked so promising as well, but James has done that so many times this tournament. Every single clutch he's in, AWP or rifle, he gives himself a fighting chance. He plays it in such a correct manner that he's just maximizing his potential to win it. Of course, he has to land the shot still, but that's not really a problem for him. His aim seems spot on as he understands what he has to do to get that bomb planted, to give himself space, using the information, the communication from his teammates to actually give himself the biggest chance of winning the round. As we'll get ourselves into the next round here. Conference just finished here in London, but as Matt mentioned, we keep going until the game is done. This is the final map of the day. 11-8, Avangar on the comeback now, up against just pistols of Navi. Deagles, 8 cheese of smokes. Remember, this was at a 11-4 first half, and all of a sudden, Avangar, they're on their feet.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely on their feet. AKs this time as well, and they continue to put pressure on that B-bomb side. That's the trend. When does Simple start to get dynamic? Because we know on Mirage that he will. In fact, to the point where it was a problem previously in some teams. Liquid talked about this when they had Kusta as well as Simple. And Simple picked up the op without saying anything and decided to play on Catwalk at B, leaving Kusta with really had no certainty as where to play, and it led to some problems. But the point is, he will take matters into his own hands on this map if he needs to.
When you put it like that, it does sound like kind of a gangster move. You know? He's like, you know what, I'm taking this.
Yeah. Sorry, man, you're not cutting it. I'm just gonna take your position
Don't
right
even
now.
tell him as well.
There was certainly some issues in that day and age for Simple and Team Liquid.
But yeah, certainly not the ideal candidate for Teammate of the Year at that point. But he, like we've talked about many times a day, he almost seems too selfless at this point, like to the point where he's limiting his own potential to try and raise his teammates up. Maybe swung too far in the other direction, perhaps. But it's going to be Avangar now with a clean sweep, essentially, here. They've got 5 players alive, Edward and Electronic trying to hold on to the little they have, the Desert Eagles, the CZs, the armor. Money, maximum loss bonus into the next round, so they can bring out a double AWP setup. I would say that's almost certainly going to happen at this stage. It's a sort of situation you find yourself in where nothing's working, you're getting ran over, a big adjustment required. We could bring a secondary AWP out for the B bomb site. Even Zeus could pick that up, like a lot of a lot of B players can just pick that AWP up and just hold it quite happily, just go for the 1 kill and drop back.
Does she sound like Gladys to you?
She actually does. Yeah, right, yeah.
That's actually kind of creepy when I put it that way.
Yeah, actually, it's quite a good call. We'll see if the AWPs come out. Just the one. We'll see. I'm just giving you all the options available. Stuff we'd like to see, maybe some ideas they bring to the table. I like this from Avangar, though. Just as you know the money's getting to a comfortable position for Na'Vi, you're going to go for whatever this crazy execution is. You're jumping on the heads of each other to throw over some Molotovs as well. This is absolutely crazy. I love that. Look at all the flames engulfing the bomb side there. Quite cool to watch how it all set up, but it looks like it will be Electronic to find that first frag. Can Buster push through the smoke and actually do something with this? Molotoving towards jungle. Looks successful. Nice open plant. That's all by design. Yes, they lost a man in the process, but it's still an incredibly difficult retake here for Na'Vi.
Simple has to wait for the flames to extinguish. He will slide back out from the chimney position. Wants that op to catch the cross, but the ball already down, and they've already retreated. They've got positional advantage now. But from Sandwich, that's quite a stab from Prison to look back towards CT. He's only good for one in that position. They're going to overrun him, but so much information. The problem being they lost A main too quickly, and Kicker, based on time, based on being alone, should be given up. The bomb not planted for the wrap. He can't get far enough up connector, and it's done. Na'Vi steal one back.
Got a little bit close for comfort there, but Na'Vi pick it up. The fact is only 2 players survive as well. That's not the cleanest of rounds, and we know that Avangar have had a clean run of it in the second half. They've got plenty of cash. That execution they've got, I'm not sure if it's a replication of other team. I've never seen a boost on that corner to throw whatever Molotov it was, I think towards Firebox. Looked really cool and technical, to be honest. Orbs coming out. Do we have that double orb set up yet? Doesn't look like it. As you can see, the octagon now a little emptier. There's Trace at the back. You can see him waving. He's actually the receptionist at that other booth. He's kind of part-timing over there as well.
He's a man of many talents, many skills. I heard he was actually doing some modeling down the way to try and attract people to one of the other booths.
He did a great job, let me tell you. Anyway, is this another tactical time? I remember one of the notes we've taken away from Avangar is they potentially rely on their coach for input. They've used almost every timeout on every map they've played so far. There are the odds provided by GG.Bet, our esports bookmaker, providing the odds for this tournament and hosting it as well on their booth here at the ICE conference in London. Round 22, 12-9. Na'Vi still in the lead, but this half has been rough for them. It was an 11-4 first half. And if they went out on this sort of manner, that could be the worst possible way. It looked so convincing, but here comes Fitch, looking for the opening frag. Not going to happen. Na'Vi finally looking convincing on their CT side. They've locked out the attack at the A ramp as well. Good smoke utilization. And that should be the round. I don't see a way unless James gets absolutely sick here to bring it back. Simple, confident. They've held off the execution, and now Avangar even have to wait for their own smokes to go down.
2 to the good for Na'Vi. Much better. Odds were getting closer, as was the game. That makes sense when they go in tandem, but it's now going to be Buster. Smoked off one more time. Slight gap, waiting to see if anyone wants to push up and play close. Electronic has that idea. I don't think he has the audaciousness to try and push wide of his smoke when they've got a 2-man advantage, so he'll hold tight instead. Still down back towards spawn indicates they'll go back to grab that. Also that they're not ready to commit. More to the point, spread out across the map. Still trying to find one equalizer, if you want to call it that. One answer to 2 that have gone unanswered so far as James rotates back on the AWP. 42 seconds and really not much forward progress.
Well, they got a save, so we've got some filling to do at this point. 35 seconds of it. As we'll see Na'Vi have a very successful round there. Simple, 1 kill required. Electronic will join in as well. Looks like those guys are getting stronger as the rounds continue. 13-9, it looks like the ship has been steadied at this point. We'll see if they can continue to keep this clean. I don't think we'll see any more kills this round as we get to the closing stages of Mirage. Na'Vi looking to get to the lower bracket final. That's where Heroic are waiting. They had an opportunity to actually make it to the grand final. They were looking so hot earlier in the tournament. They took down Na'Vi. Remember, to open things up at this tournament, Heroic beat Na'Vi 2-1. And if Na'Vi win this map, they'll rematch them in a best of 3 early in the morning.
Just to note, also had a 1-map lead over North this morning. So, interesting to think of it that way. North, by the way, unsuccessful in their other 2 best of 3s. Barely made it back in time to play against 3D Max. Lost that game and then decided not to play against Optic because they feared that they'd have a similar issue tomorrow after the final, given that they're already in that. So they'll allow Optic to pursue the spot rather than risk giving it up and costing both Danish teams or Danish parts of the teams a spot at Sydney. So North will not be going to Australia.
Wow, quite the call to make.
Sportsmanlike, though. If they don't think they're going to be able to play the game, why even cost someone else the chance?
Yeah, absolutely. Well then, Na'Vi, just a few more rounds will do it. The pressure will be released. This has been a stressful day of CS for them, let me tell you. Lots of up and down moments, lots of disastrous rounds, but it's come together in the last couple of maps. First one was a nightmare. This round could be a similar situation. It will be Buster to open things up. Crizzen chimes in as well. 5 versus 3. Avangar looking to post double digits here, and it's up to Edward to get maybe a shot through the smoke there. No damage done. James will get one from the air, and it's Edward to give his position away in the 4 versus 2. I don't see himself and Zeus running away with this one. They might as well let it slip by the wayside, and we'll see them holding onto the Orcs As the bomb will be planted, he can do a nice open plant at this point. You can see that's going down towards that jungle position. As Fitch just confirms they're not going for the retake here. They can't really justify the hunt either. If we look at the left-hand side of our screen, that money situation is very poor for Avangar. Every kill has a knock-on effect here. As they lose Fitch, there's now 3 AKs waiting, but the position now.
Yeah, the problem is making too much. Oh, okay, fair enough. I was going to say too much noise. Kicker, I thought was going to get the one up on him, but he was spotted. Still gets away with it. Zeus, you've pointed it out, has the AWP and wants to hold it. Oh, he doesn't need to pursue this, but he does. Kicker through the edge of the wall. Everyone down, 3 staying alive on the Avangar side. 3 rounds. The spread between them. This is certainly anyone's game still.
I can't believe that. It felt like such a done deal in the first half. It just felt like it was over. It was Na'Vi who kicked things off on their T-side campaign, which is objectively the more difficult side to play. And looked so fantastic, and now really struggling to even save weapons. Tactical pause. A chance to chill out. Remember, it felt like 10 minutes ago we were saying, oh, look how relaxed they look now. Everyone's happy. Looks like it's all fine now. Back into hell, though. Here we are again on the ropes financially. It's been a long, old series, this one. Overtime there. 3 maps. Up and down performances. It can be exhausting. I know it seems like they're just playing computer games, but the adrenaline and amount of mental fortitude required to operate at this level of Counter-Strike is a very exhausting procedure. Na'Vi still the absolute favorites in terms of the odds. You can see those at the bottom of your screen. I feel like that could start balancing out. This round will be indicative of where it's going.
Flamey with the peek to mid, no off to work with, and it's the M4 that they want to spray with rather instead. Mentioned it earlier, Zeus was playing over toward B, still is, and therefore the pressure being applied in that situation. They're already down the hallways of the apartments. Slowed the pace considerably. Smoke down as well at 1:30. Early for a defensive smoke, but it will buy time to rotate back in that direction. They've heard noise based on how deep they went with the footprints. That was easy to spot out, or rather hear, detect for Zeus. And this is a clever boost and a response to it. So the smoke was strictly designed to bring the rotations back over and aid support. Boost up. Nice flash. Well timed. Completely counters and makes that boost irrelevant. Not the positioning of Zeus, though. He was the man doing the boosting. He slides out late. 2 kills for him. Stays alive, and all the support came his way. He does manage to leave it down to just Buster. It should be Navi's round to find 14.
You're absolutely right there. Money, actually a bit of an issue for Avangar. I thought they'd have a bit more than this. Buster will try and do what he can. 50 seconds remaining, but the bomb's down in B. He just has to try and be a nuisance here. If he saves the AK, he doesn't necessarily need money. He'd be better off saving his AK-47 with the 4K he's got, dropping an AK for a teammate next round and actually helping them out. He needs to say this. He doesn't need kills. He just needs to survive, and it looks like that might not be the case. And he gets a nice shot. That adds another $300 to his collection, though, at least. He could actually drop an AK and a kill at this point if he can get a little bit more out of this. We'll see. Holds up. And it looks like Navi are happy with the fact that they'll let him keep the AK at this point. You know what? Let's keep 3 players out. We've got the AWP. And their money's not great either. Sure, it's a round for Navi, but both teams on the precipice of a collapse here. Certainly the advantage for Navi going forward, though. That's 14-10. And Buster will be able to drop an AK and probably a UMP at this point. Fist bump's coming in, just trying to close this one out. Hasn't been their best tournament. Certainly not the prettiest, but if you get through, get to the final, that's all that counts. Still in contention for it.
Absolutely are, and I think each and every series they go into, you hit the reset button. Doesn't matter how they got there.
Yep, indeed.
They're still in it. And that goes to say with Heroic tomorrow, if they get to that series, they'll be just fine. It's not like the matches behind them will weigh them down in any sort of consequence. Flamey does try and get out toward top mid. Catwalk smoke means he gets stuck under it, but flashes deter him from doing so. He decides and thinks better of it. As Simple trying to counter flash. Pretty much gives up a very fast execution from Avangar as they finally head to this site instead, but not with full weapons. And that allows Electronic back wide side of the smoke, but only for 2. He actually got stopped by Kicker immediately, and Flamey, he is completely blocked off by smokes. Has to allow the bomb to get closer. They've not gone for the plant. In fact, they've sent a lurk toward B. If that was the bomb, they would have a plant out of it for free, but that's too late and too lost. He could flank.
He could just get in the kitchen and hold up. They could go all the way around T-spawn and just let them back in. That could be a play, or he could go for kills like that. Not bad. I think it'll be a similar procedure, though. He's just suggesting they're going towards B now. You can see the bomb waiting to go towards A, but Flamey suspects something. A fly in the ointment, perhaps, as he doesn't seem convinced it will be the B approach. And that's because you can see Zeus's position. He's confirmed it. He's pushed to B apartments.
Yeah, he actually went underpass.
Flamey can win this.
He snuck through underpass, which meant that if he hasn't spotted at this point in time and he knows there's no further activity in toward B, he would have heard that. Flamey has to check short, but they'll play the retake. And they can. Zeus is going to be on A main. I don't know that they're going to be expecting this. They do know they have to be over toward A because there's no further action towards James, but bombed down temporarily and not recovered. Good thing James got to catwalk when he did, but Zeus could actually still pull this off. No idea he's there. One down, but it's a straight duel. James, he's done most of the work on the flank. 17 seconds, and it's a one-on-one. James, the man with the higher skills. Zeus, typically the one with the smarts, and he's going to try and use that, but stuck in the corner. James got the angle.
Right down to the wire, that one, ladies and gentlemen. 14-11. Zeus looked like he did enough. He had time on his side, but as you mentioned, James is such a beast when it comes to those 1v1 duels. Very difficult to take him down. And we will see Avangar get one step closer. That was a massive round. We discussed the gravitas of it. If Avangar win that, it essentially forces Na'Vi to an eco. I'm not fully aware of their overall stature, but about 2K. That's not a double eco, but it won't be at a full by next round. So they'll take pretty much eco here and push towards the apartments. Good flash. Buster will survive it, but Edward actually gets himself in a decent spot here.
Buster does find Edward. Getting aggressive on the pistols. Have to do something at this point. This is going to be a 14-12 game most likely, and that is extremely close for comfort. Well, it's went from 8-4 as they cut in half based on the economic situation, excuse me. And the result of the last round. Again, it's James, by the way, to be the one to step up. Pretty impressive overall. So
many clutches. His stats for those 1vx situations and another headshot there must be pretty unbelievable. I've lost track of the amount of impact he's had in those sort of situations.
Fitch clears out bottom mid. That gets them closer again to connector, gives them the map control, and they'll start creeping in. They know they're against pistols, so they don't need to execute too heavily. They just need to make sure they clear the corners, clear the angles, and they're doing exactly that. As James finds Zeus standing up close, hoping he can find a headshot. Just simple. 47 HP. Zero investment and likely zero chance. I'll say it, zero chance he does win the round. That's confirmed. Closed out. 2 points between them.
Scary moments now. It felt like Avangar stood no chance at all here. The way Na'Vi were flying so high in the first half, the confidence just on another level. It seemed like it was a done deal. Avangar just ran out of gas, but all of a sudden, Na'Vi back in the conversation to be the first team knocked out here. They still have a lead for now, but it's a tactical pause for Avangar. They fend off the full eco of Na'Vi. And remember, loss bonus isn't fully established yet for the favorites here, so they will have a buy, but they're all hovering around the $4,500 mark. They can definitely get rifles, but they might want to throw in a couple of SMGs there, maybe a glass cannon orb, just to give themselves some utility and some stopping power with the sniper rifle. As we'll see ourselves get into this game further and further. So much on the line here, especially for Na'Vi. They can't crash out in last place of a tournament they were expected to cruise through and get warmed up to the major in.
Certainly not the warm-up, not warm enough yet that you would have expected. Again, this comes into question, and the fact of the matter is, if they don't, we just talked about it. I mean, if they get to Heroic, it's a reset. They're capable absolutely of making the final, but that doesn't seem as likely as it did just a few rounds ago. All AKs versus all rifles, but a mix, an assortment. 2 FAMASs even brought out this time. Buster's going to sneak up catwalk through the initial smoke. A second one deployed at the window allows him to focus his aim and attention strictly on connector. Simple and Zeus play off of each other. Zeus wants to be the one to peek for information. Simple maybe using him as a bit of a bait. I don't know that you could blame him in this situation at this point. And it's not surprising to see Simple head over toward B, where they've been exploited so many times. We talked about him wanting to switch things up to try and support that position. He's done exactly that. They've got mid presence still, on the CT side, but it's passive, again, strictly based on utility. Meanwhile, here we go. Bomb over toward B. It could be exactly that play once more. Down toward Catwalk with a 2-2 split, lurk, and an anchor set inside a connector by James. He wants to cut off rotations.
No kits here, Matt, and limited utility. This round is everything for Na'Vi. Not only will it find them series points, but will avoid a massive detrimental situation where they can actually have nothing to buy in the next round. That's where Avangar can tie things up. The execution, or commitment I should say, looking likely here. Do they go all the way in? 30 seconds, eh? Booking it back towards the A side. This could be a dicey call, but a better shot comes through. Edward will be dropped, and now it's up to Zeus to work out what the hell's going on here.
And that's strictly based on that single kill. James now knows they have the A side. He pushes back out. Electronic. Fitch even catches out Zeus. This has to be saved from Na'Vi. They don't know where to go. They're backing off already. Simple stuck over toward B. The second kill came in at the exact time they took the A site. That's very well done from Avangar, but Na'Vi has no answer. Fantastic shot. Guns are going to be a massive problem now for Na'Vi.
The Octagon is getting a lot of tension inside now. Na'Vi really have themselves painted into a corner. They had an 11-4 first half on their T side of Mirage. It should have been done. It should be over. But somehow, some way, Avangar have grind themselves back into it. The individual skills starting to shine now, showing us why they're at this tournament. Simple, trying to survive. I don't think he'll get all the way, but of course, you can never doubt this man. Finds his 20th kill and at least takes a rifle into the next round. Enough to win on that alone if they can get something to go with it. But tension really mounting at this point. We'll see if Na'Vi have anything left to justify an investment here, or will they take another eco and allow it to go 14-14?
14-14 with the economic situation the way that it is. I think you favor Avangar. I think you absolutely have to.
No
again, cut in half. No investment aside from the save from Simple, which is not in this round. It's just carried over. It is a gun, though.
Do you remember when those odds were like 13?
Yeah, to
like 1.1 or something like that. Now, all of a sudden, Avangar could actually steal this away. This is unprecedented. You don't see this every day in CS.
Two series in which Na'Vi would be upset. And a third map happened yesterday as well. They would crash out in last place in this event. Simple, the only one with the weapon trying to spot toward Palace, has to back off, readdress, stay dynamic, because if they identify where that weapon is, they simply won't confront it.
Just to know, yes, Simple has rifle and armor, but his teammates do not. We've got a B stack in transition towards A by the looks of things. It's still going to be Zeus though with the CZ. There's not really much he can do. He can't even justify pushing that smoke as they take damage. Oh, okay. Well, and a death apparently through the smoke as Kicker will find that one. This is a guaranteed round at this point. Simple doesn't want to be anything to do with it. Zeus steals one away, but nothing to get too excited about unless Simple goes absolutely wild here and kills him through the box. It's sort of happening here. Lots of damage done. Maybe, just maybe, there is a chance here, a sliver of one.
I think you have to go for this. They saved for a reason so they can buy in the next round. They've only got the one gun to hold on to. You might as well give this a crack. The damage is there. I'm not sure they're aware of it because it was through the box. You wouldn't be able to call on that. No audible noises, no dinks. Up close, AK Buster drawing his aim. Didn't find the first kill, but they'll swing out. Electronic, good response. Zeus still trying to distract the kicker. He can actually hold him at bay, keep him off the bomb, but he takes the nerve to go for the peak, and that is a bold play. It's down to a one-on-one. Simple, 5 HP, no kit, and no time. He's backed away. It's a tie game.
Absolutely worth going for it, it seems. So unlucky for the CTs there. What is that spray control? Let's get a replay of that. Get it down to 10% speed because that was phenomenal. That could have slipped away. There was enough there for Simple and Co to work with. Left on 5 HP, couldn't find the final shot. So close, but it doesn't matter. It will be all tied up here.
Tactical timeout. Not surprising they have to at this point in time. Na'Vi, deep breaths, flamey head and hands at this point in time. Edward certainly not with the smile we saw and the relaxed nature of the first half when they were joking about it and quite jovial of the situation. This is an absolute disaster.
Let's keep it on this camera if we can. Let's kind of read the temperament. As they don't look too stressed yet, but certainly not happy about it. What's the play? I'll get an insight to the cash as soon as we jump in game. It can't be amazing. Maximum Moss bonus will be knocking on their door though. Ranked within the top 5 in the world, Na'Vi could be knocked out last place here in London against opposition, which it felt like it was built for them to just glide through and show us how brilliant they are and how much work they've been doing in the off-season. And If this was to go down in this sort of manner, to bring it right back, have this convincing lead, and you crash out on the third and final map, they're going to be gutted. Simple's got the orb. Who will post series point first? We will see. Fast up, trying to control middle, and a boost for Simple to get himself towards short.
Wants that fast shot, smoke down, no one wide peeking on it yet, so at this point he's got to be patient, very patient to find the first map point for Na'Vi. All the confidence to Avangar. And we're double check to make sure they haven't snuck up toward Catwalk, got close to Simple's position, who yet would be able to spot them. That gap above the smoke, he even may sneak out further, and he is going to make contact. Oh, or is he timing off? He's fallen back. Simple's gotten one, falls back, and re-peeks to find Crizzen. Brilliant play by him, because now they have to hold off. They have to sit back, and they're basically just sitting waiting for Edward to peek. He does exactly that, a 5-on-3, all by Simple's aggression, if you will. That early boost to get himself up in the window. Not an easy jump to make, but it pays off for the AWP. And he'll transition back over toward B as well. Bomb still over that direction, but split up at this point in time for the T's. Be pretty impressive if they pull back with 47 seconds, a 5-on-2, where in which Simple has an op.
All looking positive for Na'Vi. And you can see that might actually do it. You can see the cash there map. You've pointed it out. If they don't save these weapons, they get $1,400 per player in the next round. That is not enough for even Deagle armor, really. It's not enough for anything. They have to hold the AWP and the AK. If either of these players go down, that's the 16-14 pretty much locked in. They'll have almost nothing to battle Na'Vi. One of the most difficult games they'll have to play this tournament, I think. Na'Vi somehow in his second half have found round 15, and indeed, series point. We'll see if they can get anything else done. Jane will at least confirm that he's staying alive at this point, drops the smoke, desperate to hold on to it. Like I said, you get $1,400 per player. For anyone who's not aware, an AK-47 costs $2,700. The armor and helmet combo, that's $1,000. A grenade is $300. You need about 4.2K for a reasonable T-side buy. And they're going to have anything but that. But they did save the AK and the AWP.
And the op. The op in itself is $4,750, so that's extremely valuable, not just monetarily, but also because of the potential that it has. We've seen ops, single ops, sway rounds before, but that requires being aggressive, certainly on the T side and setting the tempo. Look at Simple. He boosted himself to a passive position on Catwalk last time inside ladder. This time, playing the gap in the smoke, that's more like it.
A nice opening pick. Huge advantage now. 4 kills away from knocking Avangar out of the tournament. James, we've sung his praises all tournament long. He'll need something marvelous here, and it can't be done. That might be one of the final nails in the coffin here. 5 versus 3. Na'Vi just need a few more kills, and they've done it. One of the most stressful games they'll play this year, potentially, but we'll see as they'll try to do anything they can. The single AK makes its way through.
The fact that you say stressful, for all the wrong reasons.
Indeed.
Obviously, it doesn't carry the same weight as the major will for them, but it's not a position these guys want to find themselves in just before that event when we get there so soon, shortly, just 2 weeks away for their portion of the event. But this is changing. Flamey taken down, forced off CT stairs as well. Smoke on the site, massive gap in that, but Simple has to consider if they jump over the top. Nade spotted, it won't do much damage from that range.
Good nade.
Counter nade certainly does a massive amount of damage. The amount of red showed up on the overlay was substantial, and Edward knows they're going for the plant. 33 seconds flashed in by his teammates. Doesn't worry about the planter directly. Wants to go for the one behind, and all 3 down. That's it. Na'Vi commence on the defuse and finally take this game, and I mean that finally. This was a slugfest.
It really was. No huge celebration here for Na'Vi. That's a hollow victory, if ever there was a way to personify that term. And you can see it cost them everything in terms of endurance. They're barely shaking hands. This is not looking good for Na'Vi. They're not happy with that one. They know that performance isn't good enough for the major around the corner. We need to see more from this team. They should be blowing this sort of opposition out the water. But the headline is, Matt, they've got over the finish line. And like you said, they'll continue in the bracket now and still in contention to win the tournament. That's all that really matters.
Absolutely. They play against Heroic tomorrow morning. We start a little bit earlier, so that is, I mean, they've got to pretty much get back to those. They'll get some rest, talk about this, but no time to really address it in the practice room, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It depends. They know themselves well enough, but we start at 9 a.m. and they've got a bit of a transition period from the hotel, a bit of a transfer period in traffic and whatnot in the morning. So, yeah, early game, tough battle to come against Heroic the way that they're playing. They've certainly got to shape up, but they get through it. They get through it, and that's the main thing. It's certainly not where they want to be. That is evident based on their body language. Certainly not where any of their fans want them to be. but just get through it.
To be fair, yeah, you shouldn't be happy with that victory. You know that there's work to be done at this point. And sure, you just got through it. That is the headline there, but work needs to be done.
Credit to Avangar. That's a pretty impressive performance. Again, it seems like they're so close. They don't quite get the credit they deserve because in this situation, 4 teams, you go out in 4th, okay, didn't win a series, but they're always in it. Even in bigger tournaments, they're always close to making it through into the the playoffs from the group stage. We saw great performances from James. Tons of potential within this team. Again, I mentioned the mid-round calling on Overpass. I thought they were great at identifying where the potential weaknesses were within Navi's defense and capitalizing when they had the chance. Not thinking, oh, we might be able to do that, just doing it. And that takes some skill.
Well then, that's all from us for today. We have one final treat for you. We have the wonderful Simple down on the show floor with Tracer Anthus.
Thank you very much, Henry. That's absolutely correct. Simple had a, you know what? How do I even say this, man? You guys had a rough day today. It looked like it was a really long affair for you guys. Fair to say?
Yeah, it's fair now. It was a really tough game against Avangar, especially on the first map because we lost our pick. We didn't really expect to lose Overpass, so it was a hard game.
So tell me about this first half of this last map, because honestly, you guys had the numbers, I believe it was like 11-4. It was really one-sided. Talk to me about running that one back or having to fight against Avangar there. What made it so difficult for you guys?
Yeah, our T side was good at the beginning, but after, I don't know, just some crucial mistakes, some rounds that we lost at the beginning really affect us. So thanks that we had few timeouts. We had a chance to discuss what we're going to do at the end, and that's for.
Definitely brought it down to the wire. Now, look, man, I know that the GG.Bet challenge here is what the focus is on right now, and we do know that the major is ahead of you guys. I mean, I could say, are you saving strats for the major, but that seems a little too cliche. How exactly are you guys going to prepare going into that step of the team here?
I think we're just going to be more focused and more prepared as a team, first of all. Not in our game, just strong mentally. We need to be ready for any opponent. We're just warming up right now at LAN, just to feel our game again and see what happens at Major.
Okay, Simple. I'm going to let you say this in your own words to the viewers at home that it's probably a little bit easier for you in that, right? Anything that you want to say on behalf of yourself and your teammates right now, go for it.
Yeah, thanks everyone for support, and just follow your goals and follow your dreams.
Yes, and your memes, and that guy, Zeus, the leader. Anyway, let's go ahead and start to get out of here, but first, I believe we do have some brackets. Thank you very much, Simple. I believe we have some brackets we're going to take a look at. They're going to be taking on Heroic tomorrow, and then the winner of that's going to be going on to the Grand Finals to play North, who did earn that spot later on. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and toast this one right off, and we'll be seeing you back here tomorrow, the GG.Bet Ice Challenge, where 50K has been on the line all week, and tomorrow we're going to be wrapping it all up. We'll see you there.